What's up, my zero viewers? Shout out to the void. I guess I just wanted to make a random journal entry in a Google Translate voice, because why not? Ha ha! I've always wanted to make a game. It's been one of my lifelong dreams. Games have been my getaway drug, like a portal to a life that isn't my own. It's neato. It drowns out the static. I've enjoyed playing games my whole life. And to a great degree, they have fed me and consumed me in as much time and effort as I have done unto them. At some point, however, I realized that playing games just didn't bring me joy. Not because games weren't fun, but because at some point I just realized that I wanted to do something. I wanted to make something that would give me my own fun. But I don't really know how to make games. And, well, I don't really have any skills. But that's just a skill issue. A long time ago, I did mess around with stuff like Scratch or Alice. And at some point, I did complete the obligatory Unity rollerball tutorial that we all go through. That was back when Unity was still considered the new kid on the block, and nobody had any real stakes in there or hopes in the game engine. Of course, years later, Unity picked up speed, and they became fairly big enough to rival the likes of Epic and their Unreal Engine. Though, in recent times, we know how that panned out. So I ended up going with Godot. Godot? 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 Ah, pooey. Regardless, here's the best that I've ever done. A terrible Pong clone that you can't beat. I couldn't figure out the AI, as it literally just follows the ball and makes it so that you can never win. Ah shucks. I guess that's just how life is. A test FPS controller that's broken. Really, I was just learning about basic rudimentary movement here. But it ended up being a poor implementation because it actually moves the position rather than applying a force to the character body. So it ends up pretty jank. The math and physics on the camera and movement are broken too. Although I was able to figure out some of the basics. Next, I made a little thing where things pop and you pop them with your mouse. The things pop up randomly and the spawn area scales to the size of the window dynamically. And the things ended up being not so thingy because the sound things end up glitching from all the popping by the mouse things. I'm not sure if it's because I only have one copy of a sound file that is to be played at one time per instance of the things. Or if because I need to enable a way for the last sound of a thing to finish playing. Either or, I'm sure. Afterwards, I attempted a very poor broken third-person controller. Alongside with this, I also had made my very own crappy 3D model. It's pretty garbanzo. Up till now, I had been attempting to learn Godot by sheer brute force and documentation reference. Alongside with my very poor knowledge of programming. But the math, physics, and C# code reference kind of stumped me. So I had to look up a neato tutorial at some point, and I had to have a rubber duck called ChatGPT eventually. I want to say I understand the basic principles now, but I'm sure my well of knowledge is dry and covered in cobwebs again. I'm sure I'll relearn it one day. I don't really have any artistic skills, especially for 3D. I mean, at one point sure, I also made the obligatory 3D donut and orange. But that was ages ago when Blender Guru was still new and it was still the cool thing to crap on FOSS in Blender 3D. Oh how the turns table and fall. Still, failure is in my breath. So I attempted to model my first ever 3D character after drawing up a rough sketch. Let's just say I closed my eyes somewhere and got it done. It'll be easier for my sanity. When all was said and done, I ended up with this. It's not very good. The animation is stiff and the control doesn't feel good. It definitely took me longer than it should have to figure out everything even at this broken stage. And now, well, I'm trying to learn the basics of Godot's UI. It's also fantastically going poorly for me and taking longer than I'd like. But that's not the fault of the engine. Just my own ineptitude and procrastination. Actually, the Godot documentation is quite helpful. And it contains a lot of extra fluff that covers some basics and fundamentals for someone like me who has zero idea about anything past my eye sockets. Man, this stuff sure is hard. I suppose one day I'll get something out. I don't think I'll manage to do anything groundbreaking. For now, the goal is to just make something I'd appreciate. And I guess I'll keep working on that for as long as it takes. Even if my pace is at that of a snail. But hey, that's just a game theory.